Hey everyone and welcome. Ever stop and wonder what it really takes to build the software you use every single day? Well, today we're going to unpack the essential blueprint behind all of it, the system development lifecycle.
I mean, really think about it. That game on your phone, the app you use for work, they didn't just magically appear, right? So how does a simple spark of an idea turn into a complex, working product? It all comes down to a structured, really methodical process.
You know, the best way to think about building software is to think about building a house. If you just grabbed some wood and nails and started hammering away, you'd end up with a mess for sure. To get it right, you absolutely need a blueprint, a solid plan to make sure the foundation is strong and the walls actually stand straight.
And that blueprint for software? Well, that's the SDLC. It's the structured framework that guides teams through designing, developing, and testing high-quality systems that meet and hopefully, blow away customer expectations.
This whole process breaks down into 5 distinct phases, which is basically going to be our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the initial idea and follow the journey all the way through to the final product and even beyond. So let's start right at the beginning with Phase 1, planning. This is where every great project kicks off by laying a really solid foundation for everything that's going to follow. Okay, back to our house analogy. This is the stage where you decide you even need a new home in the first place. You identify the core problem. Hey, maybe your family's growing. You define the scope. Are we building a little 2-bedroom cottage or a 5-bedroom mansion? And this is crucial. You conduct a feasibility study. Do we have the money, the land, and the right skills to actually pull this off? Honestly, this is where so many projects die before they even start, just by skipping this critical reality check.
Next up, Phase 2, analysis. Now that we've decided to build, we have to figure out what exactly we're building. And this part is all about gathering information.
This is where the architect sits down with the family. They're asking all the important questions. How many bathrooms do you need? Do you want an open concept kitchen? Big windows for natural light? All of this gets put into a final, official document that lists every single thing the system has to do. Getting this right is so important to prevent something called scope creep, where the family suddenly asks for a swimming pool after the foundation has already been poured. Not good.
All right, moving right along to Phase 3, design. With all those requirements gathered, it's finally time to turn them into a detailed blueprint.
Now, an interesting thing about the design phase is that it actually splits into 2 key areas. Think of the logical design as the conceptual floor plan. It shows what the system will do. Then you have the physical design, which is all about the building materials, how it's going to be built, specifying the exact hardware, software, and even the programming languages that'll be used.
The output of this whole phase is a set of really detailed technical blueprints. These documents give the developers the exact instructions they need to start the actual construction.
And that brings us to the exciting part, Phase 4, implementation. The blueprints are approved, the materials are all chosen. It is time to break ground and actually start building.
This is often what people think of when they imagine software development, right? The coding, the hands-on creation of the system. But it's so much more than that. It's also rigorous testing to find and squash all the bugs, installing the software, and critically, training people how to use it. It's the equivalent of laying the bricks, wiring the electricity, and finally, handing over the keys to the new house.
But the story doesn't end when the project is launched. Oh no. We now enter the 5th and final phase, which is often the longest of them all, maintenance.
So, you've moved into your new house, but the work isn't over. A pipe might leak, so you fix it. That's basically bug fixing. A few years later, you decide you want to add a deck out back. That's like adding a new feature. Software is a living, breathing thing. It needs to be updated, improved, and adapted over time to stay useful and secure.
So, as you can see, the system development lifecycle isn't just some arbitrary set of steps. It's a disciplined, proven process that provides structure and control. It's what makes sure that the final product is exactly what was needed, that it was built correctly, and that it's ready for whatever the future holds.
At the end of the day, it all comes back to a simple question. Would you build a house without a blueprint? I mean, rushing in is just a recipe for disaster, whether you're using wood and steel or lines of code. The SDLC is that essential blueprint that separates a spectacular success from a total failure.